Hey, Andrew Wood here, and today's 2-minute drill, we're going to talk about sales. Yeah, I know, sales in the golf business. It's one of those things nobody wants to talk about. Everybody just wants people to come in and hand them a check. But unfortunately, that's no longer the way it works. And you actually have to sell people to sell memberships or outings or whatever. So let's talk about objections, and let's talk about how to handle a specific objection. So let's say you've done your sales presentation the way you should because you read one of my books on how to do it, and the prospect says something like, I'll have to think about it. Now, had you done the presentation correctly with a pre-sale contract, you would never have got to that point. But let's say you get there anyway, and the person says, I'll have to think about it. What should you do next? Well, what you should do next is try to narrow down what specifically is holding him up, so perhaps you can present an additional piece of information or an additional solution that might help the prospect make a decision. So you say something like this: well, Mr. Wood, I completely understand. Any important decision demands careful thought. But may I ask, what specifically is it you'll be thinking about? Is it what type of membership to take, or is it perhaps which payment option to take? So you give them an option to try to narrow it down. Well, I'm not sure which membership's best for me, or, well, I gotta, talk finances. So you want to narrow down the objection, because if somebody just gives you, well, I'll think about it, and you go, okay, well, that's it. It's over, and you don't want it to be over that quickly or that easily. So whenever somebody says, I want to think about it, compliment them on the decision. Well, I agree, Mr. Wood, any good decision's worth thinking about and worth thinking about carefully. But may I ask, will you be thinking more about which type of membership to take, or will you be thinking more about which cost is most in your budget? So always try to narrow it down, and always try to, so that you can maybe provide an additional solution. If the prospect tells you he's unsure which is the best category of membership for his family, perhaps you can go back through the benefits again and try to help him understand which one of the options is best. And if he talks about the cost, perhaps you can say, well, if you were to move ahead, Mr. Wood, which one do you think would be most appealing? And, try to narrow, sales is all about trying to get the next yes, trying to get to the next level. And so you never want somebody to just disappear without thinking about it, without going back and try to narrow down so we know where the sticking point is, and perhaps we can offer a solution to solve the problem.